Hi, in this demonstration you're going to see how to create a mobile application using Oracle Visual Builder Cloud Service. We're going to start by creating a mobile travel application. An application that you create can get its data from remote REST services, from local business object, and you can create both web and mobile applications using the same development environment. We're going to start by creating some business objects, and we're going to base those business objects on Excel spreadsheets that we import into our application. Pick up the Excel spreadsheet, and Visual Builder would analyze the structure, identify the various sheets, and create business objects based on them. You can further refine the definition of each one of the fields. Once the business objects have been created, you can enhance them and modify their behavior. For example, you can add additional fields. Let's add an approval field. This would be a Boolean field. And another field would be the airline that the flight is done with. This one will refer to the other business object we have and to the airline field over there. You can set properties for each one of the fields. For example, you can set that the default approval status is false. Another type of fields that you can create are calculated fields. So let's create the total cost field. Okay. And this field can be an aggregation of our travel request, calculating the total of the cost. This is done per airline. Now that we have our data set up, let's go and create our mobile application. Give the application a name and choose a template. Then you can refine the navigation items here. And define the layout of your first page. Now that you created the application, you'll be taken into the Visual Editor where you see an emulator of a mobile device on which you can click and modify the look and feel. For example, provide a different title. Let's show a list of the travel requests on this page. We'll connect the list to a data, and the data would come from our travel request business object, and we can recognize the specific REST call and choose a template for our list. Let's show the traveler name, the cost, the destination, and the status of approval. The data is immediately fetched and showed for you live in the preview mode. You can also set the list to allow you to select single records and then add the ability to edit, for example, one of those records. So let's create an edit page based on the same business object and choose the fields that we want to allow to update. Now we can connect the list so it would allow us to navigate to the edit page. To do this, we're going to create a new event, a selection event on the list. This event is going to navigate to the next page. This is our visual action flow. We're going to select the target page. This would be the edit travel page. And this page has a parameter which is the ID of the travel request. This is the ID of the row that we selected in our list. So we can just map it using our visual parameter mapper. And now we have our functionality set for our application, and we can go over and run our application. The application executes inside an emulator. We can see the travel requests. We can click on one of them, see the information here, update, for example, which company the flight is done with, and approve the flight and save the changes. This is reflected in the data that we see on the list. Let's update another one of the flights. Like that. Now let's go over and create the additional statistics page. The preview that you see over here can act as a live preview as well. So you can click, for example, and navigate directly into the next page. On each page, again, you can set properties directly from the Property Inspector and use component from the left to add to the page. For example, we want to show a bar chart on this page, and we'll connect it to data coming from our airline business service. What we want to show is the total cost for each airline. So basically our amount spent in each airline. Okay. Once you have the chart in place, you can set various properties for it through the Property Inspector. You can define fields, sizes, and behaviors. It's important to know that while everything you're doing here is done in a visual way, you can also go directly to the code view. This shows you the code for your page, and this is Oracle Jet-based UI, and you can directly also modify the code. We have a smart code editor that allows you to define properties also directly in this way. Code editor also allows you to reformat, find, replace, go to declarations, and rename parameters and variables. Right, so we're ready to run our application again. Let's update another flight. Save the changes and navigate to our statistics page. And the statistics page now shows us the information about how many flights or the cost of each flight in each airline. Once your application is ready for deployment, you can build your application and deploy it on your mobile device. To do that, you'll navigate back to your mobile application and define a build profile. You can create Android and iOS build profiles. We're going to create an Android one. You need to provide a key store. Once the provisioning is available, you can again go and run your application. Now you're also able to build your application. We're going to populate our data from development into our staging environment. Once the application has been built and you go to the Android, you'll have a QR scan code that you can scan on your mobile device. On the left now you see our mobile device. We're going to invoke the scanner and actually scan our code. This would give us a link to download the application. We're going to download the application onto our device, and once the application has been downloaded, we can install it. The application is installed to run on the device, and when the installation is finished, we can open the application. Since the application is secure, the first thing that we're going to see is a login screen that will ask us to log in into our account. We'll provide the credentials and sign in into our application. Our application is now running on our device, providing us with a native Android look and feel and the same functionality we saw before. We can choose a request, update the airline, approve the request, and save the data. We can also switch to the Statistics tab to look at the statistics about our expenses. This is how easy it is to build a mobile application with Visual Builder.